And we are live. What's up, everybody? What's up? BoTik in the house, Screaming Eagle in the house.
What's up, everybody?
We are back.
Hello.
Yeah, we are
Good
back.
to be back.
We are back after a nice little hiatus. So I'm getting some feedback. Just a second. What's up, everybody? What's up? There we go. Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for coming out today. I'm going to transition over. There we are on the screen. We're live. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for bearing with me. We've got a new setup in the studio today, so we're just playing around with it a little bit. And now, on to more important things. I'm here live from Oslo, Norway. And who's in the studio today? Screaming Eagle, as usual, of course. How's he doing, man?
Hello. Good afternoon, world. Good afternoon, BoTik. Coming to you live from the USA News Desk here in Delray Beach, Florida. And just had the Blue Angels fly over my house. Talk about that, a little teaser for everybody.
Blue Angels. Yeah.
The Blue Angels.
Yeah.
Maybe some of our American listeners would know that, but not sure too many of our other friends around the world, they might not be too familiar. But so we'll share some of that with you guys. And I got a lot to update on and talk about. Good God. I think it's been, 2 weeks since our last Periscope bringing up to the surface?
Yeah, it's been
the COVID bunker.
It's been a while. Yeah, I mean, why? It's been a while. Yeah, usually we gotta go. It's been a tiresome couple weeks. I think that's a good thing. Good way to start off. I think we're here deep in it now. I think it's been, depending on where you are in the world with the COVID thing. As I touch my face, with the whole COVID thing, I think it's been here in Norway and Europe. We've been going strong in ice quarantine for about what is today? Yeah, almost.
Today is May 8th.
I would say about 7 weeks. I think it's all started here in Norway on March 12th.
The full shutdown.
The full shutdown, and we'll get into that a little bit too, because we're no longer on full shutdown.
Ooh.
Things are opening up. Things are opening up now.
And that's same here. Here. So this is day, oh my God. Yeah, I mean, we're 7 weeks also. I don't know what exact day it is since, I've been home since March 20th. So that's kind of when it started for me. And so it's been a long time, but things are opening back up. People are getting out of their bunkers and heading out and about again. It's getting warmer. So definitely people want to be out and about. Projections continue to change now based on some of these new things. And I won't want to stick on this for too long, but if I can transition over real quick, BoTik, to just some quick hit numbers.
Give it to us.
And, let's see what we're looking at here. But
give us the updates.
With mitigation now not happening any longer, and I think there's close to 30 some odd states, don't quote me, that have now relaxed the stay-at-home orders, and no one at all is following even the president's own guidelines for opening states up again. No one. Literally no one.
But I mean, that's a whole can of worms right there. But I mean, if you watch the president, if you watch him, then I think you will notice that he says something different every day. I mean, he's obviously trying to kind of he's like a magician, He's like, ooh, don't look over here while I do this, and don't look over here while I do
pretty
this,
much.
And I mean, exactly. one day he's like, I have total and complete order over everything. I have complete control over everything. And the next day he's like, screw it, I'm gonna give it off to the governors. Let them have it. He can't decide. He's like, do I want to be the boss, or do I want to delegate the task?
Yeah, I guess, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the boss does, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. And I guess in a way, he is following the Constitution. It is, power to the states, and that's all fine and dandy in other instances, but obviously not in this instance, where a much more coordinated response nationally, regionally, locally.
And I
needed to happen. It was a complete cluster.
And I mean, let's be real too. I mean, this is like what would we call it? Like an intrastate problem, you know?
Correct.
So like just as an example, you know, if you kidnap, I'm not a legal expert, but from what I understand, if you're doing something illegal in your state, then it's like more of like a state crime. But if say you kidnap somebody and then you take them over the border, then it becomes like a federal crime. If you're carrying some illegal articles with you, items or something like that, you know, the law changes as it goes across borders, and this is a thing that does go across borders. So it's I mean, you know, legalities, constitutions, all these things are so flexible as we come to think. People like really stand hard by these things, but I think most people don't even know what these things really mean and how they work out. And at the end of the day, I mean, this is an issue that's affecting everybody. So,
well, just grab your AK and go to the local state capitol and let them know how you feel. And that's being a true American there, guy.
Oh my God, yeah, So everybody, if you haven't checked, if you didn't see our last episode, it's right about the time when the protest began in Michigan. I think that really was like breaking news. It was happening right after we were recording.
Yep.
And this is just continuing now, right? This is just like never ending.
It won't stop. But you know what? Let's see. This is a new wrinkle here. If everyone can see my screen, how are we looking in the newsroom there?
Looking good.
Good. Okay. So as of May 4th, they now have a new type of forecast that shows for locations that have not lifted social distancing, the model measures will stay in place through August 4th. So Florida has already changed the laws, and we are no longer under the stay-at-home orders. We're in phase 1, at least for everywhere else in the state of Florida except for Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade counties. So here in South Florida, we're still under total orders, although people aren't following them anymore at all. We saw a guy today getting a haircut in our development inside of his garage. Someone looks like this guy's a barber, I guess. Maybe I should go talk to him. Kidding. But so this is actually pretty unique because it shows you when our mobility stopped and what we were seeing the gradual decline. So look, you know, March 25th, 43% decline. So like, and then bottomed out here that like first week of April down into here. And then now slowly, here we go. Now 46% mobility, negative mobility. It's like slowly inching back. So just like, look, today, look at that swing. So that swing to me, in my humble opinion, is going to equal more cases in 2 weeks time. So we're still adhering to as much social distancing as we can, and trying to not expose ourselves by going to big places still. Let's see what really happens. So real quick, there's almost 4 million now confirmed cases worldwide.
Good Lord.
Almost 300,000 deaths. It's brutal. Almost 1.3 million people in the United States. So yeah, it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon, people, and that's why we still need to adhere to what we're doing and leave it at that.
It's pretty crazy, man. So I mean, it sounds like about almost half the cases are in the United States. Almost half of the global cases. You know,
New York being the primary feeder area, and so that's what DeSantis is worried about down here. And he said this, and he's been worried about this, is the people that are coming in from the Northeast, and how do you stop them, and what are you going to do? Because they're basically bringing it down here, is what he was saying. So, I mean, look, it's a hot spot, but that's the thing, is that you're supposed to isolate, isolate, something. There's a step. Like people need to be identifying who they're around. It's happening here in Florida. We've heard stories, and people are not. So there are people that we know that were diagnosed with the virus. okay, were hospitalized because of the virus, and who did not yet clear a test to be told that they were showing as negative. So could very well still be, positive and symptomatic, going into a local store here, a grocery store, and just no regard. So there are people like that are walking around that are infected, and they're going into public places.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's just, I mean, just wait, man. Give it, when we do our next broadcast, let's say in a week or two, those numbers are going to go right back up. So
yeah,
scary.
I mean,
what's going on over there with that?
Well, I mean, yeah, to expound on that just a little bit about what's happening in the States. I mean, well, also for those of you who are international and even national listeners out there, if you don't know who we keep talking about, this guy DeSantis, he's the governor of Florida, who's like, I don't know, in many ways kind of like a mini Trump, but he's like a little Trumpy minion.
Very true. He is completely. The only reason why he got elected is because of Trump giving his endorsement, and he squeaked out in the election over Andrew Gillum, the Democrat candidate. But yeah, so good God Almighty, and he's Ron DeSantis, Governor DeSantis here, has been praised by the right-wing media, and he's the golden boy example of everything to do right. Oh, how many people still have been paid with unemployment here? I mean, look, I gotta give it to him. He did do the senior home restrictions. I mean, there's still been a lot of deaths. The primary amount of deaths has been from the senior homes here in Florida. But they like to talk about the Villages, which is an area outside the Orlando market, a senior living area, high density of seniors, that there hasn't been anyone there that has it, or it's been very, very, very few cases. So there are obviously things that are being cherry picked, but I mean, hey, I guess it could always be worse. But when you start doing this stuff, and just real quick, so sorry to transition just for a second, but some other local breaking news, not this headline, but so this one. So this is now confirmed. So the beaches here locally in Palm Beach County, where we are in the USA News Desk, about 1 hour north of Miami, we're going to open up our beaches then. So what initially was happening is that there was coordination between the different counties here in South Florida. So again, for our viewers around the world who aren't aware, there are 3 counties that are all within 1 hour and a half north to south of one another. And total, there's about 6 million people who live in that area. So it's very important that that coordination is done, because anything that one county decides to do, the other has to mirror it.
And you're talking about South Florida, right? You're talking about for those of you out there that aren't aware, we're talking about South Florida, which is basically Miami-Dade County, where Miami is, Broward County, and Palm Beach County, which actually they call, the technical term for this is the Great Megalopolis. To give you an idea, it's basically an endless urban sprawl from the tip of Florida at the bottom all the way up to, I don't know how long, like 120 miles up the coast, or?
Yep. So exactly, it's this area right here, and just as soon as this fades in a little bit, you can actually, I mean, you can physically see just how condensed this area is from basically down here in Homestead. So here's Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and then the Tri-County area ends here in Jupiter, Indiantown area. So from this area all the way down to here, and just from here to here, which is maybe only 20 miles at the most, from end of population to the Everglades back to the beach, you have about 6 to 6.5 million people. So if here in Palm Beach, which is Boca to Jupiter, if this area here opens up their beaches, then everyone from Fort Lauderdale and potentially even Miami are just going to come north and they're going to come right here, and they're going to come to our beaches and bring up the most infections, which are down here in the Miami-Dade area, all the county that has the most infections here in the state of Florida, and bring everybody up here and come use our beaches. So I'm firmly against what our commission has decided is the only way it will work is if Broward and Miami-Dade both agree to doing it on that same date. And right now, I don't think they are. So could be something to keep our eyes on there, especially here locally. That could be very concerning.
Yeah, it just seems like total chaos, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
look, we want to get back open, okay, and we want to get out and around. There's definitely been more people out on the road when we're going to certain places, and we've been going to some stores. I have been and going to get food.
Yeah.
I have not gone into a supermarket though, so I'm not completely isolating anymore like I was a few weeks ago. Also, in a personal update, going to be switching gears, and I share this to pre-broadcast that shifting focus to something new, a new opportunity for Screamin' Eagle in a professional sense. And looking forward to the new opportunity coming my way.
That's
in a
fantastic.
Totally different field, and there is some good to come out of this, that we can all take a look at things and try to be proactive. I know it's terrible though, and I feel bad even talking it. Like, I almost feel bad that I gotta say that I got a job, and like it's incredible during all this. So I was unemployed for 7 weeks, and now that I have a new direction in a new career, seeing numbers like this really, make me just thankful for what I have, in that I'm blessed. This is as of today, so that is startling.
A record 20.5 million jobs were lost in April as unemployment rate jumps to 14.7%. Yeah, so I mean, by all accounts, from what I understand, we're no longer in a recession, but we're in a depression.
That, I believe, would be correct.
Is the economic,
but for heading toward one. Usually, a recession or depression is defined as like what happens in a quarter time frame, if I'm not mistaken. So it would be, right now we're in the middle of Q2.
Okay.
So that will finish up next month. It's April, May, and June. So that Q2 is going to be abysmal, and this will surpass what happened, I think, during the Great Depression, as far as amount of people. I don't know if this shows it here in this article, but I also read something, sorry, as I try to scan it, that the job, people out of people who are out of the labor force is somewhere now north of 110 million people that could be working or should be working. Now, that's not all from this. Like, there were still 70, 80 million people classified as that designation. But now you add on this 20, what they might even assume is 30 million people, because these numbers are primarily based off of unemployment filings. So if states are having problems, which they are still having problems getting people registered and processed for unemployment claims, then this isn't, I mean, this is a startling number in of itself, but really it's probably worse. And you're probably looking at somewhere going to settle in, they're saying, around 30 to 33 million people. Now, the numbers are kind of flattening or trending down as far as the amount of people filing for unemployment. So it seems that the peak of it, where we were a few weeks ago, it's kind of leveled off a little bit. But you're still talking about 3 million plus people a week losing their job or filing for unemployment benefits. So that's horrific. We have a real problem here, not just here, but in this country. So, what have you heard going on over there? What's going on job wise there, and are people going back? What's happening?
Yeah, it's a good question. So yeah, I mean, interesting. Just to reflect a little bit on the unemployment that's happening in the United States right now. Before I get into the Norway scene.
Sure.
It's pretty incredible. I think this is definitely the big. I think the jobless rate, the unemployment rate is, if not yet, I think it's around exceeding that of the Great Depression now. So that's I get also like why it looks like we're headed towards this Great Depression. But it's interesting because I've been looking into a lot of what happened back during the Great Depression and kind of like how did we get out of the Great Depression last time. And
Sure.
I mean, government back in like, the 1930s, they were employing a lot of people. So there was not nearly as many people like having to collect unemployment because the government was like creating jobs for people. This is pretty amazing. And
well, are you talking about the New Deal?
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like the civilian conservation corps. I was hearing stories about how they would like employ artists and like performers and like send them around the country and like make them do like lessons for children and like put them into teaching and like so actually there's like all these amazing government programs came out of the Great Depression
Wow.
to keep people employed. And this one economist, professor, this guy, Richard Wolff, he has a really great podcast. If anybody's looking for a good economic podcast, once a week he does a podcast called The Economic Update. And it's a really good podcast. And check it out. And he was talking about that. He was talking about how, it's quite a shame actually that we have so many unemployed people right now when there's so much work to be done. For example, we have an extreme lack of testing, and it would be very possible to give people the kind of like how we train people to do like voting booth kind of stuff. Like you could train people, to go on to go out there and do stuff like administer testing supplies. Like there's a whole like sea of workforce that needs to be done. There's all kinds of things, teaching, online teaching, all these things that people could be doing rather than going into like such a deep because it's going to be really crazy to see how we get out of this. And unfortunately, now we don't really have any like candidates either running for president or going to run for president again. Like, I mean, if you look on both sides of the spectrum, we have nobody that is throwing out any ideas right now. It's pretty crazy. Like, I really feel like it's just like a lame duck president, lame duck candidate.
Speaking of lame.
Yeah. You want to get into this?
You want to jump into this?
Let's wait a second on that. But this will be good.
That's a good teaser.
Yeah, we'll get a bit more into the candidates in a little bit, but yeah, we're gonna get into the Biden brunch in a little bit. Stay tuned for the Biden brunch. That's gonna be.
Don't go anywhere, guys.
That's good. Don't go anywhere. That's gonna be juicy when we get to the Biden brunch segment. But just to finish up with the U.S. Norway comparison, what's happening here? So yeah, what do we see? Anyway, so there's a lot of opportunity actually.
Absolutely.
If we had candidates that were running right now or a president that gave a shit about anything, then because I'm sorry, but you kind of just get the feeling that everybody's trying to figure out how we can make some money off this, and nobody's really giving a shit about how to raise the people up and how to carry the people up here. What's happening over here? How does it compare? I mean, so things are opening up a lot here. We're a little bit ahead of schedule, ahead of the timeline, I think, if you compare to United States. So Norway shut down on March 12th, but it was always kind of a loose shutdown, and we've talked about this before on the show. It was always kind of a loose shutdown. So, I like to say Norway is like a big kindergarten. They love their kindergartens here, and the way that they treat, I know because I've worked in the kindergartens before, and the way that they treat children in kindergartens here is very hands-off approach, which has many benefits. It's very good, and it kind of encourages people to do a lot of independent thinking and stuff like that. It also has its drawbacks, maybe not so good at listening to authority or direction sometimes when necessary.
Right.
But a lot of self-responsibility. So you hope that people take care of themselves. So that's kind of the mentality that it's been here. There has been like stricter restrictions than say in Sweden, which we'll get over to in a second. So, in general, it's been, limit your time, limit your distance, of course, stay distant, don't hang out with too many people. It's been for a while now. It's been don't hang out in groups of more than 5 people. I think it's been like that for like 2 weeks or so. And they just came out yesterday with their big kind of like rollout plan, because now the curve has gone quite flat. It's getting quite flattened now. So I would say we've probably made it through the first wave. And now they're starting to loosen up restrictions. Now you can get into groups of up to 20 people. A lot of restaurants are back open. You're supposed to be keeping like distance, spacing the tables apart and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I would have to say life feels, I mean, for me, it doesn't feel normal. I'm still kind of being very careful, but like you said, loosening up myself a little bit too. Like, I've been out going to my place of work, when necessary, and these kinds of things, and, stopping at the store and these types of things a little bit more often. But overall, I still feel like I'm kind of maintaining quite a shelter in place attitude. But for me, it's a bit scary outside. But it's been a bit scary outside for a couple weeks already, because I just see people just all over the place and bumping into each other and coughing here and coughing there. I mean, I have to say, I do see a lot of people out in parks, like groups out in parks, where you will see a group of, I would say that you see a lot more than 5 people in a group, but you will see groups, but at least the groups are spaced apart from each other. So this is, I guess, showing that people are trying to do something, but I don't know.
Are they wearing masks?
Dude, you know what? That's the thing. People don't wear masks here.
Not good.
I mean, in my thing is I wear a mask, or I wear, I have like a scarf or something. Like, I'm like the only person. Yeah. It's like, I'm like the only, like, it's like me, some other random, like one or two other random people. Every time I go somewhere, there's somebody wearing a mask. And to me, it's weird, because I don't know, for me, even if you don't, I don't know. There's so many things that we don't know. You know what I mean? This is what's crazy about, and we're not going to pretend to be experts here. You realize that our governments don't know either, and our healthcare professionals don't know either. And that's not a conspiracy. We're watching that unfold in real time. Like, one day they say one thing, the next day they say another thing. One day they say,
but is that because the virus is evolving, or because they're just not prepared?
I think both. They're not prepared. They're not prepared, and we don't have, and the virus is, changing. I mean, this ravenous, I mean, think about it. Maybe we can put it in some other terms, like a different analogy. Some crazy person with like a machine gun is running around town just killing people, Mm-hmm. We don't know what this person looks like. We don't know what their problem is. We don't know what their motive is. We don't know where they're going next. You know what I mean? Best idea, shelter in place for now. You know what I mean? That's the best idea. Just, we don't know, So, and then you got these people, okay, well, we think, okay, well, back to the virus. Oh, well, at first, the big thing was, oh, you don't need to wear a mask. You just need to save it for the healthcare professionals. Right. And, I mean, there's all these different studies out, and some say that masks help, some say that masks don't help, some say that it's better. But never until now did I start hearing this, and I think we started hearing this narrative that, like, oh yeah, you don't want to wear a mask because a mask will help you get sick, like it'll collect germs. Only if you're sick should you wear a mask. You know what I mean? Only if you're sick you should wear a mask to keep the germs from going. That's what they were telling us at first. Now we know that they were doing that because there's a lack of masks. You know? And they were caught with their pants down and they were unprepared. And there's actually a lack of masks. So I mean, there's so many. What's that guy's name? Donald Rumsfeld. Remember that guy? There's so many. There's the known knowns and the unknowns, but then there's like the known unknowns and the unknown unknowns. Like, I mean, there's all that. That's basically what we're dealing with right now. We're dealing with, like, we don't know what's going on. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. And you know what that says to me as an individual, like as an individual thinking, individually minded person? I say, okay, sounds like people don't got their shit together. I'm gonna shelter in place for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, if I can, you know what I mean? If you can't, you can't. Or you got the. Thank you, Brock, Screaming Eagle, for your technical abilities over there.
Do we have audio on that?
No, I don't. Is it on mute, or you might need to share your audio? I don't know. Say, okay, sounds like people don't got their shit together. I think you got your.
Sorry, everybody. Screaming Eagle blowing it up remotely over here. Sorry.
We doing good.
All right, well, let's try this one more time. Just gotta hear it.
Reports that say that something hasn't happened are always interesting to me, because as we know, there are known knowns. There are things we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know there are some things we do not know. But there are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know, we don't know.
Right.
That's basically what's going on right now. Yeah, that's basically what's going on. That's basically
good analogy. I like that, BoTik. Very good. That was very good. That was perfect.
I just thought of that right now. Yeah, but I mean, that's basically what's going on right now. I mean, it was like when they were looking for the chemical weapons or the weapons of mass destruction. It's like, well, we don't know. We're not sure. I don't know. Who knows? So, and I mean, the thing is, this is terrible, right? This is terrible for governments to be saying stuff like this. This is terrible because we're sitting here, like, I mean, I'm a big believer in science. I mean, I've been a researcher before in like the academic world. I love research. I love peer-reviewed studies and all these kinds of things. And I have a great appreciation for the effort and like high ability and like level of study you must do to research things. But I also know that there are contradicting studies, and you kind of have to be into this kind of stuff to differentiate between what's real, what's not real, what might be real, like what's conclusive evidence and what's to be researched further, and we're in a case right now where, number one, we don't have people that trust doctors. We don't have a grand population that really trusts scientists and doctors. Or we have a large portion of the population that doesn't. And at the same time, on the other end of the spectrum, we have governments that also don't seem like they know what they're talking about. So that's right. That's a problem. So I think that the whole shelter in place concept, the reason why we're supposed to do that is because they're telling us we don't really know what the hell's going on right now.
That's just to buy us time then?
It's like I said this. I was talking to one of my friends who's on the other side. Let's say on the Trump side. one of my Trump friends. If you're listening, you know who I'm talking about, and we have a good time talking on Facebook. And I use the analogy of, because there's all these people that are like, I want to get out of my house. I want to go to work. And it's like, two things about that. Number one, you want to go back to work. You want to go back to your low pay. You're not, I'm not saying everybody's making low pay, but I'm sure you're being underpaid. You're underpaid, healthcare attached, job where you're just going to go and increase your risk of getting sick. There should actually be a government systems in place that can take care of people in times like this, so you don't need to worry about going back to work, so we can contain the viruses and then move on with our lives in whatever direction they might be. But so I said to my friend, it's kind of like that time when Trump said, and I can't believe I'm using Trump as a reference here, but it's kind of like that time when Trump said, yeah, we're gonna ban all the people from all these. We're gonna ban all the Muslims from all these countries until we find out what the hell's going on here. Like, they never had it. I have a feeling all these people that are like banging around with their guns, banging on the Capitol doors, are probably the same people that had no problem with that idea. No problem with this idea that we're going to just ban entire countries, like millions and billions of people, from coming into the United States until we find out what the hell is going on. Which, by the way, is a very, like, for like 99.999%, a false flag, gaslighting, fear-mongering policy to enact. Whereas now here we are, there's a psychopath, aka coronavirus, running around our towns, killing lots of people, killing our grandmas, killing our, people, our relatives with health conditions and stuff like that, and killing apparently just normal healthy people too. And now we don't want to find out what the hell's going on. Now we want to, it's a conspiracy. It's it's the government trying to control me, the blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, and I told my friend, I said, you know what? Who you really should be mad at, you shouldn't be mad at the government closing things down. You should be mad at the government for not providing you with a system that's going to support you in your time of need. A healthcare system that's not attached to your job, a healthcare system that's going to pay for your shit if you have some problems, so you don't have to worry, so you don't have to sit up at night with like anxiety about it. And at the same time, an unemployment system and a social welfare system that actually works, that you can trust. Yeah. You know what I mean? So and you need to go out and pressure your politicians, or vote them out, and don't vote the shitty ones in, and be safe, until we find out what the hell's going on.
That's very well said, man. No, it's perfect. I don't even really have much to expand on with that, just because, like you said it all. And the only way to change it is to get your ass out to the voting booth, and people need to show up and really make their voice be heard if they want it. If they want something different, you have to go try to make change, and the only way to do it here in America, and probably most of the Western world at least, but you hope at least that that's the way to do it. But then it's always seemingly the lesser of two evils that end up getting thrown at us as the names on the sheet of paper to put a check next to in the box. And
Oy vey, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get into that. I just want to say one more thing before we get into that juicy topic. I just wanted to finish up by saying, I would say, why don't we see a lot of this anger and kind of like unrest, say like in Norway or other countries over here?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a definitive answer on that, but you don't see people in Italy, you don't see people in Spain that are like insanely affected. I mean, you think stay-at-home orders are bad in anywhere in America? It pales in comparison what people are dealing with in Spain. They just recently were like, in Spain, I think they were like, adults are allowed to go out and they're like, kids are allowed to go out and like play for like, whatever, a friend or something like that, I mean, serious lockdown for like months, you know what I mean? And so the reason why people aren't freaking out is because they feel like this is a serious situation, and B, they have like, they at least know they have a healthcare system to depend
right
on.
and it's not so, I mean, there's how many, I actually have not seen any numbers, but just real quick on the health insurance aspect of things, it's a benefit here, not a right.
And that's a huge
benefit. That's important. Let that soak in to our listeners. It's a benefit, not a right.
Yeah.
And now you're having tens of millions of people realizing that for the first time. I'm lucky I didn't have to end up being one of them. That's only because now my now former employer is paying my health care through the end of this month, through the end of May. So the timing, I'm going to have to switch over and go to a private healthcare program for a month. Cobra, which is we'll get in, I'm not trying to go there. There's other options out there that are more expensive. We'll just leave it at that for the group here. But so I'm going to have to go private, and that's fine. And then I'll get on my company's insurance. But again, yet a benefit, not a right. So let's just hope that there will continue to be fundamental change.
Yeah. I mean, I think people, they should, I mean, it's so ironic people are protesting to go back to work. I mean, in a way, I understand. I know that mentality where you're like, I don't want to like live on the system. I want to work, I understand that. And it's a very, and it's a very good job that America, like propaganda did, selling that to people, that you want to go out and risk your life You should be sitting there. People should be protesting. Fuck no, we're not going to go back to work until we're going to demand health care. And then we'll think about going back to work, because I'm not going to go risk my life for some employer, you know. And at the same time, all these people protesting to go back to work. If you do, I mean, when these governments do open back up, then you can't you won't be able to collect your unemployment insurance anymore, and you'll be out of a job, and you won't be able to get any health care. It's craziness. It's like,
I have some breaking news to share, BoTik. Literally
give it to
breaking us within the past 3 minutes here. Here we go. Live on the ground. Breaking news. Breaking. It has been officially announced. Palm Beach County will enter phase 1 of Florida's reopening plan starting Monday, May 11th.
Okay.
This is updated just as of 2:24 p.m. here. It's currently 2:27 local time in the USA News Desk here in Palm Beach County, Florida. We are now going to be open. So just days from now, we're going to have access to restaurants, retail shops. So here we go. Not doing it in conjunction with Miami-Dade.
Oh, wow.
So, okay, let's see.
I heard Miami's doing pretty good for my sources on the ground there.
Yeah, but they still have the highest rate of infection in the whole state. I'm not familiar with their numbers, but
yeah, I don't know about that. I just heard that. Well, I know I heard that certain parts. I can't remember now. Like, yeah, if you not like South.
They had they opened the beach there, and then it got overrun with like thousands of people, and they had to shut it down again. I haven't really been paying too much attention to what's going on there. You probably have more information than me on what's happening in Miami. So sorry, I'm not doing my job here on the USA News Desk.
That's okay. We're gonna have somebody from Miami on soon, so it'll be good.
Oh, very good. So here currently, okay. So first phase starting Monday for us now here in Palm Beach County. Retail shops at 25% capacity. Movie theaters, hair salons are remaining closed. Students are not going back to school. Currently, Miami, Broward, and Palm Beach are excluded from all areas of phase 1. In order for Florida to come back, we need Palm Beach County in a leadership role. We believe that getting as many counties into phase 1 is something we would want to do, but we want to do it safely, smartly, and it's going to be step by step. The governor added that he consulted with Miami, Broward, and Dade. Officials there both said they need more time before joining phase 1 guidelines. So here we go.
Here we go.
I mean, we're gonna have the floodgates open.
Mm-hmm.
That is not good.
Well, check this out. I heard I forget what economist I was listening to. I was listening to some. I like to listen to a lot of economists and read a lot of economists, and not The Economist. I don't know about that magazine. I'm not so familiar with that, but I like to read about the economy. And I was listening, and this one economist, he said, yeah, okay, so what's the difference between like Europe and United States? So he said, let's compare it to a car, you know?
Right.
He said, yeah, so like what's the future look like for Europe and the United States when it comes to coronavirus? And he said, yeah, so in many ways, like we have to open up and do all this stuff to like save the economy. Because as we see, our politicians, they're not gonna give money to the people. They're not gonna give universal basic income. They're only gonna do that for the gigantic corporations. You know, they're gonna give us $1,200. They're gonna give them like $12 billion. Okay. Right. So the people need to go back to work. You know, blah blah blah. U.S. is like United States is. No, sorry. Europe is like a nice Volvo, you know, like a nice fuel efficient, like sturdy, like you can drive it for, you know, a long time. It gets like 35, 40 miles to the gallon, you know, get in an accident, it's not going to get too messed up. You know, it's like a nice Volvo. You fill it up every once in a while. And the United States is kind of like a crazy, like Ford Mustang, like, I don't know, 12 cylinder or whatever. I don't know so much about cars, but you get the point. Like Lamborghini, you know, it's like you gotta like his point was he's like you gotta fill it up like every 100 miles or whatever. You gotta just keep pouring gas into it, and if you can't keep pouring gas into it, then like. And if you, then it's gonna like fall. Then it's gonna run out of gas, and you can't drive it anymore. And if it gets hit or you damage it, it's gonna cost like $1 million to fix it. It's just this like really beautiful but impractical design. You know what I mean? And I like this analogy this guy was using because he was saying like Europe has the ability to probably withstand a few more waves because it will definitely go into like a recession, but it won't be so as cataclysmic as it will be in United States because at least we have these like really secure elements at the joints, like joining things together. You've got a really secure healthcare systems, you've got really secure social welfare systems. So when shit starts to buckle, like it will kind of resist that, or it may be, some parts will fall off, but the structure will still remain. But in the U.S., like this guy, he's saying, just the U.S. cannot afford and cannot. The current status of the way that the system is designed is so rickety and disjointed that it will not fare very well. And this is, of course, going to lead to a lot of socioeconomic disparity, social unrest.
Yep. We're already seeing that.
Yeah.
We're seeing that increase by the day, by the week still. And I think we're nowhere near what we're going to end up really seeing. Businesses continue to file for bankruptcy, even big boxes and small business. And the economic fallout to come.
And that's the thing. It's happening everywhere. That's the thing. I was trying to tell my friend this the other day. My friend. I was trying to say, it's happening everywhere. It's not just in America, because a lot of people, they still have this very exceptional feeling when I talk to people in America. They have this feeling, oh, it's just happening. We want to go back to work. We want to do this. We want to do that. We don't like this. And it's like, yeah, nobody likes it, But now, my company, I didn't do that update. My company is going out of business. You know what I mean? Like, or it has to shut down. And I'm out of a job. You know what I mean? Everybody's, but. What is that system that's in place that's going to kind of maintain the wheels, maintain the mechanics of society when shit hits the fan? This is, right. And I don't know, eventually it could deteriorate this system too, but it's going to take it's going to take a lot longer,
Yeah, your foundation is there. There's no foundation here in this country to be able to sustain what systems are in place. Everything's broken already. Broke. It's totally broken. So
yeah. So when BoTik 2028, everybody, BoTik's coming back to save the day. Just get ready for it. Get ready.
So is that a segue here? Do you want to segue in?
Let's talk about this. So everybody, it's let's make it a segment. So all right, everybody. So what's happening. Elections are coming up, and we're in the middle of a shit storm, and we have. I don't know, two bizarre, freaky, like comic book villains running for president right now. It's bizarre.
That's a good analogy.
And so what is it? So, I really wanted to talk about that last time, but it was just too much. I wanted to talk about, okay, so just to update everybody in case you've been living under a rock, Bernie Sanders dropped out of the presidential race, which is actually quite disturbing. I kind of want my money back, Bernie, because you told me you were going to stay until the convention, you mofo. I'm not happy about this, man. I'm not happy at all. And I'm still wondering what his reasoning behind this was, that Bernie Sanders dropped out. Just leaving us hanging out to dry.
It did kind of get swept under. It's hard to not have stuff buried under the avalanche of coronavirus information.
Yeah.
It did make the news cycle a little bit.
Really?
But yeah. A little bit. I mean, but it was the quick little clip. Okay, he's out, and like that's it.
Jesus, really?
There's so much more to it. Yeah, I mean,
oh my
and then
God.
his endorsement of Biden, which that was probably forced, and just like what happened with Clinton, how he was forced to do that kind of.
Oh yeah, dude, it looked like one of those fucking. It looked like one of those, like when somebody gets like held hostage and they have to make like a hostage video. That's what it looked like. I couldn't even watch the whole thing. I was just like, okay, whatever. You know how this ends. Like
why waste of time? But then we get quality like this. We get the Biden brunch.
Yeah. So you remember, everybody, Bernie Sanders was leading in most of the polls, #1 to beat Trump. Like, just forget about what happened during the primaries. This is a lot of like silly stuff happening, and who knows? It's just a big mess. But so man was leading a campaign that would have rallies that would gather like 10,000-15,000 people. Very I would say savvy media. Not that Bernie did not have the best advisors, and I think that showed a lot, especially in his debate performance. But let's now this is what we're left with. So let's just watch the first like minute and a half of this. Whereas the Biden brunch, this is the new Biden media campaign.
Are we good? You got good video here?
Who are we?
Yeah.
We are the ones who step up for each other. I've got your back. You've got mine. Kindness, humility,
okay, can
empathy.
You pause it real quick?
It's not just talk.
Okay. Already. Like, first of all, do you know, like, I don't know if you can hear this. I have my headphones on. I don't know if you have your headphones on, but like, there's some weird music going on in the background.
It's who we always have been.
Hold on, let's
and no one
come out. Sorry everybody, yet again technical difficulty.
No, it's okay. We're gonna beat this thing up. Like if you are wearing headphones right now, I'm sure you can hear it. I don't know. Have you ever listened to like binaural beats?
No.
So I listen to binaural beats sometimes. It's these beats, it's these musical like beats, these like tonal things that they go at like certain decibels, and you can almost not hear them because they help you like go to sleep.
Oh wow.
It basically helps hypnotize you. And I'm a avid listener of binaural beats, and I am quite sure that there are some binaural beats in this video. Okay, it's like some hypnotic shit. Just saying.
Oh, really?
We'll just play it. We'll just play it for a second.
The movement to bring it back, it started here.
I missed what
Kindness,
they said.
humility, empathy. It's not just talk. It's who we are. It's who we always have been. And no one can take that from us. The movement to bring it back, it started here, and here, and here. In school gymnasiums, community centers, the living room down the block. You'll be where? Okay, we'll be there. Who are we?
Ah!
Everyone.
No.
We're the movement that will beat Donald Trump.
That's scary, man. That's like a horror. It's like a horror. No, not again. No. It's really traumatic, dude. I hate all these motherfuckers.
You'll be where? Okay, we'll be there. Who are we?
Beto. Okay, so Beto, Kamala,
all the losers.
Corey.
Oh God.
Klobuchar, who might be a VP candidate.
VP to VP.
Kamala too might be a VP. Bloomberg, definitely not a VP. Yang, he's been all over CNN.
All these traitors.
Good old Petey boy. Haven't heard from him too much, although I think he's on like MSNBC.
Oh, you bet.
Elizabeth, of course. Good old Feel the Burn. And Lord and Savior Obama.
Oh God, yeah, Mr. War
got
criminals.
his aviators going here.
Yeah, here's some good old war criminals for you.
We're the movement that will beat Donald Trump. Welcome. We're going to have to sweat for it. We're going to have to sacrifice and fight. We're going to have to lead. Everyone is going to have to lead with kindness, humility, empathy, and not just talk.
So the theme of the campaign is kindness, humility, and empathy. So basically, like all the things Trump is not, or all the things that he doesn't exude. So that's the that's the focus is to.
Dude, this is
from Trump, like.
This is the myth, dude. This is the myth.
But action. Action today. Action tomorrow. Action until we win. And we will win. If we do this together. It's who we are. It's who we always have been. Now let's show them.
Oy.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to.
God, getting into the brunch hour.
Yeah, Jesus. So, kindness, humility, and what was the other one?
And empathy, I believe. Hold on,
dude. This is the myth of Joe Biden. This is the myth of Joe. I mean, what he is a freaking mythical creature. He doesn't even really exist. No, I mean he doesn't like
yourself, man. What are you talking about?
I mean, he's not around. He doesn't
right now. Yeah, I haven't seen. And so he tried. I saw some reports he was trying to do a virtual tour around Florida this week at some point, and that it was the screen was black and like it was really awkward again. Like they can't get it together, man. Not good.
I mean, I feel I don't want on this front. I don't want to make fun of him at all in this respect because the man doesn't seem like good in the brain. You know, like he seems like
they've been saying that
he's cognitively like he's got some cognitive thing going on. You know, so I don't want to give him the keys to the castle. You know, not any more than I want this Mr. Fucking.
But then okay, here's the question. Are we already too late?
Yes.
Are we? This is it.
It's too late.
It's just hand it to Trump. Like what does it even matter?
I don't know, man. Like I don't know because it's like I mean, like first of all, yeah, okay. Like who are you trying? Like first of all, I mean, there's so many shit things that like Joe Biden has done throughout his career, and like we could like go down like a long list of them. But like let's just even look at this video for like the past year. Like, okay, who do we got in there? Okay, Joe Biden, who in the middle of a pandemic said that he would vote against like a universal healthcare system. Like he would vote against he would vote against Medicare for all. He would veto Medicare for all, even if it was passed through the Congress. Like, next,
wow,
next. Like, dude, why would you say that?
Why?
Okay, let's say this.
I didn't realize he said that.
You know why you would say that? You know why you'd say that? Because that's not part of your agenda. You know what I mean? And it never was, and it never will be. You know what I mean? Like, because that man is funded. He is a corporate like Trojan horse. He's like, hey, like I'm Joe Biden and like, yeah, I'm friendly, right? Because everybody tells you I'm friendly. Like, I don't know if this guy's fucking friendly. I don't care if he's friendly. Like, I don't care. And you know what the scary thing is that a lot more people are like way more skeptical than I am even. You know what I mean? Like,
here's something I want to hear you scream off on.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Michelle Obama being vice president?
No, come on. What the fuck? Why?
Why not? I mean, it could, right? Like,
what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do?
What do you mean?
What are they gonna do?
Obama again.
Dude, I don't want President Obama again. President Obama had a full like house, and he had at some point in his term he had like a full house. And he could have like passed all kinds of shit that he didn't do. The man could have passed. He could have done all kinds of when I remember when Obama was president, the one thing that I always would say was I would say, you know what? I wish Obama was it sounds crazy. I was like, I wish Obama would like, you remember how George Bush just like declared war?
Yeah.
I was like, I wish Obama would do some shit like that with healthcare. Like,
Ooh.
I declare healthcare, motherfuckers. Like, you know, like, yeah, like, or anything. I mean, the history of the wars and the deportation of immigrants during Obama administration and all this kind of stuff. There's a long list, and Joe Biden was like right there, right behind it. He's not. The problem is he's not reflective. He does not, like, when people ask him questions about his like fucked up decisions and stuff like that, he stands 100% behind them. Even when like people come up and ask him questions, like controversial questions and stuff like that, he just like tells them to screw off. He's like literally like said like, yeah, screw off, go vote for somebody else. It's like, dude, that's exactly what's gonna happen. Exactly what's gonna happen, dude. We're in this video is all like, oh, we're gonna have to sacrifice, we're gonna have to do all these things, and it's like, dude, like. And then you're gonna show me all of it's like I mean, maybe for some people this looks like a friendly video. I think for like some middle of the road like Democrats, like neoliberal loving, like or like, you know, honky town mofos, that it's like, oh yeah, like all these people that just ran for president are all gonna get together now. All these scumbags, these ghouls, these like creatures of the swamp, like now they're all here. I mean, dude, I'm not like being like dramatic. Like this was the one of the most cringy things I've ever seen in my life. Like it was like all of these horror creatures from my past that I just wanted to disappear. Like, oh, you know who's in on it? Like, and you know, and what's really crazy about this too, and I've been saying this since the beginning of like 2019 or even late 2018, when do you remember back in the day, like back in late 2018, early 2019, they were what I call they were ghost polling Biden, you know? I think somewhere in December, like Elizabeth Warren said she was going to run for president. And then like a little later, Bernie Sanders, and then like all these other people, Cory Booker and all these people. And the whole time they were just like on the news. If you turned on like MSNBC or whatever, they'd always be ghost polling Biden. It was like, why is Biden in the polls? Like, he's not even running for president. Like, he never said. It was just like they were pushing it. And I was like, does anybody see how weird this is right now, that Biden is in the polls and he's not even? Because they were testing the public the whole time. They were like, oh, will people buy this shit? Will they buy it? Like, will they buy it? I mean, we know it's not really what people want, but like, will they go for it? Are they scared enough of Trump? And it was like, and then they got, what did we get? We got Buttigieg, we got Kamala Harris, we got Cory Booker, we got the, you know, Klobuchar. So it's like we got like, I mean, you could go through, I don't need to do it, but you could go through the Democratic Party. It was literally kind of like what do you call it, like crowd test, like group, when you test a group of people. They were like, you know, they were giving you a little sample. They were like, oh, what do you think about this particular like demographical like type person, or like this particular person? Like, do you want like the middle-aged like you know, lady that is like you know, like African American, or do you want the guy, or do you want the like the LGBT guy that's like young and like but kind of conservative, or do you want like the kind of progressive but gonna lean towards this? It was like I'm sorry, that's really what it seemed like to me. You know what I mean? And then they tested all these different people. See, oh, will this work? What flavor of the rainbow will work? But none of them had strong policies, you know? None of them had strong policies. The only person that had really strong policies, who also sold us out, was Bernie Sanders, and maybe like Elizabeth Warren. But like all these people, they were like platitudes. They were kind of very Obama reminiscent. Like, oh well, like we really need is like strength and humility and blah blah blah. But that is not a policy. That's not gonna fix my unemployment check. That's not gonna fix my healthcare problems. You know. So this is why it's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, and there needs to be more substance to exactly what the plans are, especially if he's the presumptive person and the presumptive nominee. There needs to be clear, decisive information given out, and if it's any kind of vagueness, then I don't think that's, people, I think the way that they're trying to shape this is that it's just, he's better than Trump. Anything's better than Trump.
I don't know, man. I would, of course. I mean, and it's funny because I'm always referring to my like Trumpy friends that I talk to. Like, I say this, you know what? Trump has definitely failed the job interview. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I never hired him in the first place. But he had his time. He somehow did this. He has failed the job interview, of course. You know what I mean? But I mean, dude, I'll say this, and I know a lot of people that have said this. Like, I mean, I am so glad that we have 6 months to figure out what to do, you know? And
well, what is there to do?
I don't know, man, but like shit changes. I mean, the thing is because, I mean, they screwed us. They screwed us big time. Like the Democratic Party, like Democratic National Committee, like they screwed us big time, like in our face. Like this video is like a pimp slap in the face to especially progressive voters, especially like a lot of people. It is because it's just like, yeah, like remember Beto, like yeah, like you remember.
Yeah,
remember Beto, like yeah, he's a sellout. Relevant. Like yeah, remember but that's what I mean. He was like kind of the young cool guy, you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
But
yeah.
which you come to find out, he just takes all this weird money from. He's just this total joke, you know. It's like a propaganda campaign. That, oh yeah, he was in a punk band at like 1 minute back when he was in like 17, you know, and like he's cool.
On table.
Yeah, he danced on a table, and then you got like Amy Klobuchar. Like, dude, I never want to see that lady ever again. I never want to see her. She I mean, the best thing that she ever did was when she was at her town hall meeting like a year ago, and somebody asked her, you know, what would you say about like a universal healthcare system? She straight up was like, nope, not gonna do it. And it was like, okay, thank you, bye bye, like done. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like I mean, there are like let's remember this. There are people that live in the richest country in the whole world that are dying on the fucking streets because they don't have health care. Dude, right. These politicians have, I mean, we've the revelations have come. Like if there's ever revelations, it would be the coronavirus. If we can't mandate this shit 100%, like now, then man, these people got blood on their hands. Seriously, they got blood on their hands. If we don't have if Joe Biden is not like, I mean, I thought about it. Wouldn't it be crazy if Trump was like, all right, I'm going to give everybody health care? what would you do?
Oh my God. That's wow. That's crazy, man. I don't even know. Yeah. What, like, shit.
Well, because
if he beats Biden to the punch,
dude, I called that a while ago. I wouldn't be surprised because the thing is like,
what if he reneges on it though? Or you're saying?
Oh yeah, sure. Like, dude, that dude he says all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? But I mean,
just throw it out there.
No, because I mean, because Biden's got a chance to do it. He's not doing it. You know what I mean? This is his chance. Like this is his chance. Like, I mean, and Bernie. I don't know what his deal is, but I mean, is he gonna like what his deal is? Because it's like Bernie is sitting here. He's like, I'm a revolutionary. Like, I like want to stand up to the man. Like, it's like there's nobody that's more the man, like the corporate business like sellout than a person like Joe Biden, who has his whole career taking money from big donors. There's like videos from him back in like the 70s talking about how he wanted to take money from big donors, but like they wouldn't give him money yet because he wasn't like astute enough yet. He wouldn't have like such a big name. He's written all kinds of horrible bills. He's thrown like millions of people into prison. He's like, you know, like all kinds of crazy stuff are like the ramifications of like his dealings. And then Bernie's like, Joe Biden's my friend. Yeah, like he's a good friend. It's like, this is all you got. This is the man. This is the man that you want to stand up against, and he couldn't do it. He didn't even try. He just said blah 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 blah.
But that's just trying to show a unified face, though.
Dude, those people, like those Amy Klobuchar, Pete Buttigieg, like, Joe Biden, they unified for what? They don't support us. They don't support what, like, all they do is support a myth. They support like a mythical idea of like peace and humility and blah, blah, blah. But it's the same shit that they've been telling us forever. It's the same shit, like hope and change,
Yeah.
It's like, dude, just do it.
Well, I mean, the Obama campaign capitalized on that just because the world and the country was obviously fed up with Bush.
Yeah.
And, we hit the wall. And so now, like you said, Trump obviously has failed the job interview of the past 4 years. So here's the chance to get him out. But is there that much groundswell around Biden as a candidate, as someone as charismatic like Obama? And the answer absolutely is not. And it's just, I guess it's unfortunate that the charismatic one in this round was more Bernie than anybody, as far as having a strong stance and a revolutionary type of view and a base that was seemingly more fired up, but just didn't show up, didn't come to the polls. And Biden won the primaries because of the African-American vote. And he started swinging those southern states because of the African-American vote. And then here we are. And so I think there are things that Bernie could have learned as far as who he was trying to connect with, maybe a little bit more.
Well, yeah, I think there's no doubt that they could have done like a better job at that, of course. But here's the first thing. Like, this is all kind of myth. You know what I mean? Like, dude, the primaries weren't over. The primaries had just gotten started. There was like 3 primaries. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And although, yes, like, like it was predicted already that Joe Biden was going to win in the southern states and stuff like that. And like, but I mean, still, like.
So why did Bernie throw in the towel?
Dude, I mean, I got some theories, but I don't really know. Like, I mean, there's a lot of like insider info, like people that used to work for Bernie Sanders and stuff like that, and they come out and they do interviews and they say stuff like, well, it could be this, like it could be that, when Bernie first came to Capitol Hill back in the day, like he was kind of an outsider, and the Democrats kind of like welcomed him in. And he was actually like befriended by Joe Biden back in the day, and people have said stuff like this. I don't really buy it. Some people have suggested that like Bernie's concerned with maintaining his like senatorial seats in the House, and he has to stay friends with the Democrats because he caucuses with them. I think that it might have something possibly to do with the fact that Bernie really does think that, we got to rally behind someone that's going to beat Trump. I think even more so, maybe Bernie doesn't want to be blamed to be the person that divided everybody, blah, 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 which is a bunch of bullshit narrative. Who knows, dude? Maybe Bernie's a fraud, dude. I don't know. Like maybe.
Sad state of affairs, my friend. Sad state of affairs.
It's really sad because it really is sad. Like, it makes me sad.
It is. I know it is, because it's like, sad. What do we do?
What do we do? Yeah.
No, we can't vote for Trump. So what the hell do you do?
Well, we can't vote for Trump, but at the same time, the thing is, it's like an abusive relationship, dude. It's like being stuck between. No, it really is. Like, I feel like
I laugh only because you're right. That's why.
And like it really, like, I've never felt. I mean, I've always been very passionate about politics and all these issues and stuff like that, but I've never quite felt so like rattled by how screwed I feel, and I know a lot of other people are like flaming pissed off about how the primary went down. Like, how, especially, like, I think the worst part, and for all of you listen, you can go way back to one of my early podcasts where I talked about this, about how it was like this coordinated effort like they just turned into like a hydra, like a 8-headed beast or whatever, or 5, I don't know, multi-headed beast, to rally behind Biden. What was it, right before Super Tuesday?
Yeah.
Like that was craziness. Like this whole thing is crazy. Like that was not like, that was because they want to push that agenda. What is that agenda? We don't really know. We just know it's the corporate, no Medicare, like no, we're not going to give you what you want or what you need agenda, And in that case, to me, I mean, the Democratic Party is like, they're like the Republic. It's like they really turned into like the Republican Party. They're like the Republican Party, but we're going to we're the Republican Party, but we're like a little more like, we're going to like let, gay people be president if they want,
Yeah, and we're not going to like get rid of abortion.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. That's they're like, we're gonna like pander to those who want like, kind of like social reform, like social, like, socially oh yeah, we're gonna. But I mean, even the Democratic Party did not do a good job at a lot of things, like, trying to get gay marriage passed for like many years until like the last minute, like until it was time, like right before like the previous elections and stuff like that. Like, so I don't know what they're doing. Like, it's very, I think I know what they're doing. They are two sides of the same coin. Like, one side is for the more like kind of religious conservative, socially conservative people, and the other side is for the more like, yeah, like we're more liberal in like the cultural sense or whatever. But at the end of the day,
Right.
they're going for the same thing pretty much, like,
yeah.
and if you look back through a lot of like these people's policies, like a lot of like, Biden's policies, if you look back through the Biden-Obama administration immigration policies and stuff like that, like it wasn't good either. The problem is they have different words in which they talk about it. Like when you listen to Trump talk about it, it's very transparent. He's just like, yeah, I'm a bigot, and like, what you gonna do about it, And when you hear you hear these like Democrats talk about it, they're like, yeah, I don't know, like, yeah, no, maybe we should do that, but it's just not gonna work out this time. We're gonna really try hard next time.
No.
So what do we do?
Oh, next time? When's next time?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that was the whole thing with this CARE Act. You know what I mean? The whole CARE Act was basically a gigantic, once again, like bailout for like, the big corporations, and gave a little bit of crumbs to the peasants and people for a brief moment in time. I know we talked about it, a brief moment in time. People were like, oh wow, well, they're finally doing something. And there was all these memes floating around like, oh, look at that, socialism back again, like once the country needs it. But it wasn't really socialism. It's just like a handout, Right. And meanwhile, all the big corporations are profiting big time. And then, these people come out like Bernie Sanders and like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and stuff like that. And they say like, oh yeah, well, it didn't work out that great this time, but next time we're going to really get them,
Next time.
And it's always next time. And that's and sorry, I know I'm going on a rant right now. I'm going to stop.
Good.
But I think that's the moral of the story, and the real conundrum that we find ourselves in now, is that, yeah, like we don't want Trump to be president, but we don't want this other bullshit to be president either, And what is, other than fear, what are they going to do to win our vote? Because they have not won the people's vote, unless you're just voting purely out of fear, really, or like, oh, well, I don't want Trump, so I'm going to vote for this guy, because like the lesser of two evils. But what are they going to do?
Yeah, that's really basically it.
Yeah, that's basically
the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, and for at least for us, like people who are not, on the progressive side, which is a pretty sizable chunk now, and the independent voters who really had nothing to do with the Democratic primaries, which is the biggest sect of people voting these days, is the independent voters. Like, we're not happy. Like, we're very like, yo, we obviously see that you were pulling some funny business and screwed this whole thing. and now you want us to come over there? I don't know.
Pretty much. Hop on board. You ain't got any other train coming to the station, so better get on.
Yeah, but what are we gonna do? And then the same thing's gonna keep happening. Like, 2024. Freaking. It's gonna be even worse. Like, so we need to get out of this pattern of settling for the lesser of two evils. We need to.
Been going on for too long. I've been saying that pretty much my entire life voting, since I voted in my first election in 2003.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, and for the Kerry Bush.
I remember that. That was the first election. Yeah.
That first election that we got to vote in.
And who did we vote for?
I'll take a wild guess.
Yeah, John Kerry. Super lame, right? Like, I was just like,
I actually met John Edwards. I actually got to meet John Edwards after the campaign. It was like a few years after, and just before I got found out that he was like cheating on his wife and all that crap.
Yeah.
But they're just, politicians, man, just snakes. That's it.
So
I got a little video to share. I don't know if we're going to be wrapping up here soon or what, but I think we've been going 80 minutes. So I saw, this has been a great stream today. So I saw just a few notes here from some of our listeners on.
Let's talk to our listeners
on YouTube. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We missed you too last week. We are opening too early. What up? Impatient. Here, this is a good quote here from looks like a Marsha.
Oh, Marsha, thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you so much. The powers that be folded to demands of the impatient people. You can't fix the economy if everyone is dead. Well, that's true. That's true. That's very matter.
But I have to say, I really agree with Marsha, and I think that's something I've been saying a lot lately. And I think the level of impatience is insane. Even here, like this act of what I would say privilege, really, is like to be like, oh, I don't want to stay inside. Oh, this is invading our rights, all this kind of stuff, like blah, 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 blah. It's like, yo, when the scientists and the doctors say that it's going to take like 18 months, 2 years, there's going to be like 2 to 3 to maybe 4 waves of this shit. Like, and you're sitting here in like month 1. It's like, whoa. So yeah, good comment, Marsha.
Very good. So here, this is something that has been going on here in the United States. So there's a branch of the Navy, if our viewers and listeners aren't familiar, they're basically for air shows, and they are not active military planes in the sense that they would have missiles and guns and stuff to be able to defend a certain area. So they're just primarily for like the show of the muscle of the power of the American fighting machine, the fighter jet. And so it's a great symbol of, America and American power and air power and so forth. What they've been doing is they've been going around the country and flying over cities and areas as a salute to first responders and to people on the front lines during COVID. So I think if we can start to wind down and end today's Scream on a positive note. So, it's something. It's something positive, I guess, in the sense that, like, makes you feel good. It's cool. It's definitely a change of pace from what's been going on. I mean, how often do you see these flying in the air above you? So, it was a quick 30-second feel good.
Let's check it out.
Little
see what's going on here.
Scene on an absolutely beautiful.
This is the Blue Angels flying over Miami. Let me
Friday afternoon.
let that play out. You got good audio there?
Yeah, it sounds great.
All right, here we go.
What a scene on an absolutely beautiful Friday afternoon. You can savor it and screenshot it. It is iconic right there.
What's going on here?
So they're flying in formation and like flying over the hospitals in the area. So this is just a tight shot of them like coming around down in Miami. I physically saw them fly out right here in the COVID bunker newsroom, the UK news desk. We have a window leak that goes out to the outside world. And I did see the jets fly by over my house. So very, very unique experience that definitely doesn't happen every day and probably won't ever happen again. But
interesting.
It's very interesting to observe.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I've never been excited by stuff like this.
No,
I'd never. I mean, I never.
I love that shit though,
really?
man. The flyovers and it just, I don't know, just something about the fighter jets, and maybe because like I used to watch Top Gun.
Okay.
When I was a little kid. Like, just it's that kind of stuff. The Highway to the Danger Zone plays in my head.
Yeah, I feel yeah. No, yeah, I feel if you put some Highway to the Danger Zone in the background, that would be a whole different story. No, what I mean is like, because thing is like I know I'm sorry, I don't want to like poo poo on the whole thing, but I mean where my mind goes when I see stuff like this is because I know it's like, oh, it's for the nurses and stuff like that and the frontline workers, but I don't know, man. Like, I don't see how this helps them. Like, I don't see like how this show of military might is helping anybody. Like, it reminds me. I know. People love planes and flags and like explosions and shit like that. But I'm just saying, like, if you if you put some Korean.
Can you hear this playing? By the way, can you hear the music?
In the danger zone.
Can you hear it? Is it okay? Yeah, all right.
I was just gonna say, like, just to put things in a little bit of perspective, or like a little touche is if you put like I don't know, Korean subtext there or Cyrillic like Russian subtext there or some other like foreign language and strange alphabet, we'd be like, oh my God, look at these like North Koreans and their like weird propaganda they've got going on right now. You know, everybody in their fucking country is dying. Nurses and doctors in North Korea can't even get masked. And like their media is all fucked up and all they can do is fly some planes around. What is this crazy nation that we're watching here? You know, seriously, that's, I know I got a dark mind and like that's where it goes for me. Like that feeling.
I get it. I get what you're saying.
For me, that feeling is when I see that feeling is much stronger than like like I love my country or whatever. You know, like maybe Top Gun. Okay, that's cool. But like I think that this is you know. I'm sure many people find that nice, but it's definitely all part of the very well orchestrated propaganda campaign. It is.
I get it, but like, I get where you're coming from. We're gonna agree to disagree there. Like, I mean, but it's just how each person may feel. Maybe it's not a disagreement.
Well,
but
no,
it's just what it invokes. And I mean, my family. Not saying your family doesn't have military service, but
yeah, we do. Yeah.
My family has extensive military service, so like. It's just more for them versus the institution that it might be symbolizing like for you know what I mean, like it's more of like the individual I guess, but I get what you're saying. I totally get
no
it.
I mean no, but that's definitely like a good point. But I mean, I think it's more just it. I mean, my personal views aside, or my personal feelings aside, it is important, I think, when people see this to, put themselves in the other's shoes too. Like if, let's think about it in like a more positive way. Like, we have a lot of negative views towards like the country of North Korea or like say like not we, but like, you know, like there is a lot of negative views, especially if you come from the West or maybe like in the American media and stuff like that, towards places like North Korea, places like China, places like Russia, places like this. And they do a lot of the same things. And if you go and check out their news, then they're gonna pretty much look at that video with that kind of commentary, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna kind of look at us the same way we look at them in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and just something to kind of these. I think it's important to hold these perspectives, because whereas we can sit over here and be very proud of like what's happening over here, but then kind of poo-poo on what's happening over there is a bit of a kind of like a double standard in a lot of ways. You know, although we don't know what's going on over there and they don't know what's going on over here, and like we don't even know what's going on over here. There's a lot of known knowns and a lot of known unknowns, and then there's a lot of unknown unknowns, and that's why we gotta stay inside until
That's it.
until further
Very
notice,
simple.
if you can. So
Then it's a good way that's a high note there to wrap it up on, I would say.
indeed, yeah, I think it's been a very fabulous podcast today. I've really enjoyed it. And I would just, love to keep talking longer. I do think if I can leave people with any kind of closing message today, it would be think a little bit outside of your own little bubble and your own little box. Look at what's happening around the world. Go out in the world, find out what's going on, find out why we're dropping bombs, and if we should be. And when you get angry, before you get angry and start carrying your guns around and banging on Capitol building doors and stuff like that, think about who you should really be angry at and why you should be angry, because I think you might be barking up the wrong tree. There's a lot of deficiencies in our government, and all of our governments over here too. Use your vote to get the right people, get the wrong people out, get the right people in, and keep the wrong people out too, like we didn't do last time.
True. And now look at that.
Final words from the Eagle.
Yeah, man, I second that. Very well said. And another great adventure here, another writing of the page to this chapter of all of our lives. And as we continue to move forward into the unknown and the dark abyss of the unknown, we just need to stay true to certain values and ways of thinking. And, hopefully it will carry us through to a different way of focusing on things and bettering society overall, for what should be fair and equal. And, let's hope that there are certain things that occur that can allow us to be able to continue to have a voice and a part of changing what that vision is and shaping what that vision is for the future. And let's hope that there are things that come out of what we're going through that we can grow from personally on an individual basis, but just overall as a society, and what we should be calling for from the people that are in power and the people that we put in power, and holding them accountable. And let's just stay focused on taking care of one another as best as we can.
Amen to that, brother.
Amen, brother.
Amen to that. Well, just doing a little sign out here today. Hey, man, congratulations also on your new job, and stay healthy, stay safe to you and everybody else out there. Please feel free to join us again soon. For all of you listening out there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to like our pages. Don't forget to, you can even, if you want, you can even send us some donations. You got all the PayPal link right down there in the PayPal link right down there in the thing. Anyways, but most of all, keep listening, keep sharing, and always pleasure to sit here and discuss and learn with you, my brother. Always a pleasure.
Always, 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 always. Great seeing you, my friend. Yeah. Take care, and peace and love from across the ocean.
Yeah, we'll be back soon. Peace, everybody. Peace.
Bye.